Story 1. Moving into my new apartment felt like a fresh start. Alex, my new roommate, seemed perfectly normal if a little quiet. We exchanged pleasantries and I began unpacking. But then I saw his room, or rather what was visible from the open door. It wasn't messy, it was curated. A strange collection of intensely personal items, each seemingly out of place, caught my eye. A child's worn teddy bear sat next to a pristine vintage camera. And a collection of old, tarnished keys hung on a pegboard. It was an eclectic mix that sparked an immediate, if subtle, sense of unease. This happened to me. I dismissed it as quirky decor at first, but the items in Alex's room were too specific, too steeped in history to be random. There was a framed child's crayon drawing signed Lily, a delicate silver locket with an unidentifiable photo inside, and a pair of distinctive horn-rimmed glasses resting on his bedside table. When I casually asked about them, Alex would offer vague, almost evasive answers. Found them, a gift, or just like the look. His explanations never quite sat right, leaving a lingering question mark in my mind about their true origins. The collection grew. A week later, a delicate porcelain thimble appeared on his desk. Then, a few days after, a brightly colored hand-knitted scarf draped over his chair. These weren't things Alex would own. I also started noticing Alex's peculiar habits when we were out. He'd intensely observe strangers, his gaze lingering too long on a woman's unique handbag or a man's distinctive watch. Sometimes, I'd catch him subtly altering his path, almost following someone for a block or two before peeling off. It was unnerving, a silent, predatory focus. The true disturbing nature of his collection became horrifyingly clear one afternoon. Alex was out and I needed a charger. Seeing his door slightly ajar, I peered in, hoping to borrow one. Tucked beneath a pile of vintage magazines, I spotted it, a wallet. It wasn't old or a prop, it was a modern leather wallet, bulging slightly. My heart pounded as I saw the ID inside: Michael Chen, with an address in a nearby town. When Alex returned, he calmly snatched it away, mumbling something about finding it and meaning to return it. His casualness chilled me to the bone. After Michael Chen's wallet, my unease morphed into outright paranoia. Then it started. My favorite silver pendant, a gift from my grandmother, vanished from my dresser. I searched everywhere frantic, only to find it a day later, meticulously placed on Alex's bookshelf, nestled between two ancient books. Another time, my distinctive blue journal disappeared, only to reappear on his coffee table, its pages slightly dog-eared. I never saw him take them. Never saw him return them. It was a silent, insidious invasion, making me feel deeply watched, my personal space violated. The pieces clicked into place with a terrifying finality. Alex wasn't just collecting objects, he was collecting lives. Each item was a carefully chosen fragment, a piece of someone's identity. The child's drawing, the locket, the glasses, Michael Chen's wallet, they weren't random. They were anchors, markers of other people's existence. He was absorbing these identities, building a mosaic of borrowed selves. This wasn't kleptomania, it was something far more sinister. A macabre art project where human lives were his medium. The realization sent a cold dread through me. One evening, I stumbled upon an old newspaper Alex had left on the kitchen table. The headline screamed, "Local man missing Michael Chen." My blood ran cold. The accompanying photo showed Michael, and in the corner of the picture on his desk was a small, distinctive jade elephant figurine. I knew that elephant. It was sitting on Alex's nightstand right then. My breath hitched. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a pattern, a horrifying connection. I had to confront him. But fear paralyzed me, knowing what I was about to unleash. When Alex returned, I confronted him, clutching the newspaper. His calm response was more terrifying than any outburst. They were just fragments, he said, his eyes devoid of emotion. People leave so much of themselves behind, their memories, their essence. I just collect them. It helps me understand who I am or who I could be. He gestured vaguely at his room. Don't worry, he added, a chilling smile playing on his lips. I haven't quite finished with yours yet. My world shattered. This wasn't a person. It was a void filled with stolen identities. I didn't stay to hear another word. My mind screamed, run. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, and whatever I could carry, my heart hammering against my ribs. I fled the apartment. The image of his unnervingly calm face burned into my memory. The streetlights blurred as I ran, not looking back, not daring to. Every step was an escape, but I knew I couldn't outrun the feeling of violation. He had my pendant, my journal, pieces of my story. He had taken them. And now they were part of his monstrous collection. This will haunt me forever. I never returned to that apartment. I never saw Alex again. But the fear remains, a cold knot in my stomach. Is he still there in that room, meticulously arranging new trophies, new fragments of unsuspecting lives? Is he out there observing, waiting, adding to his macabre tapestry of stolen identities? I'll never forget that night. Now every time I misplace something, every time a small sentimental item vanishes, a terrifying thought creeps in. Is it just lost? Or has Alex claimed another piece, another fragment, leaving me to wonder if my identity is truly my own, or if parts of it are now living a borrowed life? Story 2. This happened to me, and I'll never forget the suffocating fear that crept into our lives. My younger sister, Chloe, and I shared a cozy apartment in the city, a place we'd carefully decorated to feel like a safe haven. As her older sibling, I'd always felt a profound need to protect her, a feeling amplified by the bustling urban environment around us. Our routines were comforting, predictable, and for a long time, nothing ever truly disturbed our peace. We felt secure, nestled high above the street, oblivious to the insidious darkness that was about to unfold. The first signs were so subtle, so easily dismissed that they barely registered as anomalies. Chloe would sometimes find her favorite peppermint tea, which she swore she'd left in the kitchen, perfectly brewed and cooling on her nightstand. Or a small antique silver locket, something she didn't recall owning, would appear among her jewelry. We laughed it off, blaming absent-mindedness or late-night forgetfulness, the kind of small oddities that are part of shared living. I dismissed it as her usual teenage quirks, never thinking it was something far more sinister at play. Then the incidents escalated. Chloe found a delicate hand-carved wooden bird on her pillow, accompanied by a tiny, elegant note tucked beneath it. "I loved watching you choose that dress today," it read, referencing an outfit she'd picked out that morning. The note was unsettlingly personal, its script unfamiliar yet undeniably meant for her. My unease spiked. This wasn't forgetfulness, this was deliberate. The casual intimacy of the message sent a shiver down my spine, replacing our earlier amusement with a growing sense of dread. Fear began to truly set in when the gifts and notes started appearing inside Chloe's locked bedroom. We double-checked the windows, deadbolted the door, and yet a new, more intimate trinket, a silk scarf she'd admired in a shop window days ago, would be draped over her chair. The accompanying note was scrawled this time, the elegant script replaced by something more urgent. "I watch you sleep." The words chilled me to the bone. This wasn't just an admirer, it was an intruder. Inside our supposedly secure apartment, watching my sister while she slept. Desperate, I installed motion-activated cameras in the living room and hallway, hoping to catch a glimpse of our phantom visitor. I checked every lock, every window, every possible entry point, searching for a rational explanation. But the cameras yielded nothing but footage of us, and the apartment remained an impenetrable fortress to any logical intruder. Yet the pervasive feeling of being watched intensified, a constant prickling sensation on the back of my neck. Chloe became a shadow of herself, her eyes wide with terror, unable to sleep soundly, her fear mirroring my own growing dread. The entity's presence grew more palpable, no longer confined to just Chloe's room. I started hearing phantom footsteps in the empty hallway, faint whispers that would vanish when I strained to listen. Shadows seemed to deepen, shift, and then recede in my peripheral vision. My own belongings were subtly rearranged, a book moved from the shelf to my nightstand, my car keys left hanging on the wrong hook. It was a terrifying confirmation. I was also being observed. My every movement catalogued. The unseen admirer wasn't just obsessed with Chloe, it was using me as its witness, its unwilling confidant. I'll never forget that night. Chloe's piercing scream tore through the apartment, jolting me awake. My heart hammering, I stumbled out of bed and rushed to her room, throwing open the door. She was huddled against her headboard, trembling violently, her eyes wide with unspeakable horror, pointing a shaking finger towards her closet. My gaze followed, and what I saw made my blood run cold. Inside, meticulously arranged on the back wall, was a horrifying collage of candid photos of Chloe, taken from within our own apartment. Beneath them, a final, chilling note: "She's mine, you're just in the way." The air in the room suddenly grew frigid, a bone-chilling gust sweeping past me, carrying the faint scent of something metallic and stale. It was an unnatural cold, far colder than any draft. As Chloe continued to sob uncontrollably, paralyzed by fear, the closet door, which had been wide open, began to slowly, agonizingly creak shut. There was no wind, no visible hand, just the slow, deliberate movement. The sound echoed in the sudden, profound silence, sealing away the horrifying display and cementing the chilling reality of our unseen tormentor's power. It was a declaration, a physical manifestation of its possessive claim. We didn't hesitate. We fled the apartment that very night, leaving everything behind: our clothes, our cherished belongings, our sense of security. The thought of staying another second, another minute in that apartment was unbearable. The trauma was immediate and overwhelming. Chloe was inconsolable, and I felt a profound guilt, a failure to protect her from something I couldn't even see. We stayed with relatives, then found a new place miles away, hoping that distance could somehow sever the invisible tether that bound us to our tormentor. But the trauma left an indelible mark. To this day, the paranoia clings to me like a second skin. Every creak of a floorboard, every unexplained shadow sends a jolt of terror through my system. I constantly wonder if it followed us, if it found a new way to insinuate itself into our lives. Or worse, if we merely left it behind, a malevolent inheritance for the next unsuspecting residents of our old apartment. The thought of others experiencing that same unseen horror is a burden I carry, a chilling reminder that some nightmares don't end when you wake up. They just find new places to haunt.